Joining me to discuss this is Erica Betts, Chair of the Australian Monarchist League, and Craig Foster, Co-Chair of the Australian Republic Movement.
Hi,
Great to see you both.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for joining us this evening.
Lovely to see you.
Craig, we'll start with you. Given this week's diagnosis, has that further pushed back the Republic movement, do you think?
Well, firstly, the diagnosis is really sad, and we all acknowledge that. You know, cancer, you know, no one is exempt and no one is immune, and it's always awful. Going to the premise of your question, gee, I mean, the opening there was pretty negative, you know, the starting point, because the reality is that the majority of Australians want to see a republic. I mean, you know, even in Tasmania, I think recently there was a poll around 60% of Tasmanians want to see Australia take ownership of our own country, inherit our own country finally, and have an Australian represent us around the world. We're incredibly proud of our country, and you know, I'm delighted to be here because I think we're going to have this conversation all year, and particularly in lieu of Charles and Camilla coming over later in the year. But I think the starting point for me is we agree, whilst Eric may not realise, we agree on far more than we disagree. And we should be in a unity ticket here because this is about the future of Australia, a very natural step for Australia from you know, our ancient history to colony, constitutional monarchy, and of course, you know, any progression of a country who was formerly a colony has to be inheriting our own country. Sure. And Australians want to own. You know, we want to be responsible for, want to be in complete control of ourselves, our own destiny. And Republicans around the country are not only in the majority, but we strongly believe that Australia is not just ready, but we're capable. It's time for us to take control of our own destiny.
Well, you mentioned the polling, and this is what I find interesting, because polling suggests 52% of voters support the Republic, but 55% believe that there shouldn't be a second referendum right now. Do you acknowledge that, Eric, that there is an appetite?
No, look, I don't acknowledge that. And first of all, King Charles with a diagnosis of cancer, I'm sure the prayers and thoughts of everybody are with King Charles and the extended family. And chances are there isn't a single family in Australia that has not been touched by cancer, either individually or in the extended family. So most Australians will identify with that which King Charles is going through. In relation to the Republic, the simple fact is Australia has a wonderful constitutional monarchy that has been there from day one. Australians, all those years ago, voted for our constitution. It's the people's constitution, and they set it up with a constitutional monarchy. Fast forward 99 years or thereabouts, Australians had another go. And I actually believe that the poll that counts is the one where people vote.
Right.
And in 1999, 60% of Tasmanians voted no.
That's 25 years ago, Eric.
And it's so very easy to say, do you want a republic with an Australian head of state, which is the dishonest question asked, because the Australian head of state is the Governor-General. And you don't have to believe me.
Eric.
You don't have to believe me on that. You can listen.
Jury, people of the jury, good people of the jury, let's make sure that we're working on facts here.
This is the rudeness. This is the rudeness of the Republicans. I heard Craig in silence,
but we have to have
and
truth
he can't.
Okay, well, why do you...
Okay, Eric,
what's your point?
Respectfully.
Gough Whitlam, you had a very long introduction. Allow me mine. Gough Whitlam, in 1988, as part of the Constitutional Commission set up by the Labor Hawke government, acknowledged that between 1926 and the end of World War II, Australia became absolutely sovereign, and everything decided in Australia is done by Australians for Australians in Australia, and the Governor-General is our head of state, and the Emperor...
But Craig, do you agree with that point?
Thanks, Eric. So, but I'm confused. I'm a little bit confused. So, you know, we're trying to have a conversation here with Australia, and I mean, I've got a big challenge because in only 15 minutes, I actually want to bring Eric along with us. I think because
I want to bring you along with me.
Because being a monarchist, which is like only 8% of Australia, right? So 92% of Australia are open to this move, and so, but being a monarchist is no impediment to us this next step for Australia. In fact, it's a wonderful part of it. So this is not about a rejection of any of our history. democracy. This is about an acceptance of it and a synthesis of it. This is about all of us coming together and taking this final step for Australia. So people who love the monarchy and respect the monarchy, that's wonderful. That's a part of our history.
There? Is the appetite realistically
So we think
there?
that's wonderful. That's why I'm happy to be having, you know, beginning this relationship with Eric.
But do people really want to go back to the polls right now?
But what I'm confused about, well, this is the difference. So your question is, should we have a republic right now? A referendum right now. The real question for Australia that we want to talk about in the next couple of years is how can we make this step safely so that everyone in Australia feels that we are respecting the things that we agree on.
All right, we've got 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Yeah, but the thing, when it comes to our head of state...
You've even got a prop there.
I've got a pocket constitution
here. It is non-stop. It is non-stop.
This is the constitution.
All right, we've got 30 seconds.
Australians
Eric,
did a wonderful
final
job in
answer
making
from
it.
you.
But where in here does it say the Governor-General is the head of state? I mean, you're welcome to show me.
Eric?
This is page 13. It says Governor-General.
Okay.
And if I can read...
We are running out of time. I'd love to get to your prop.
Appointed by the Queen shall be a
This
magistrate's
is why the
representative.
Republicans lose each and
So
every
it's not
time.
true. That's not our head of state. Our head of state is King Charles.
So let's get that. Our head of state is acknowledged to be the Governor-General by people and countries right around the world.
But subject to this constitution, such powers and functions of the Queen as Her Majesty
This is why the voice lost. This is why the Republic will lose.
But how can you say...
Because those that seek to be advocating in this manner turn off Australians.
What are you talking about? I'm just talking about our constitution.
They want respectful debate.
Unfortunately, I've got to interrupt you both because we actually are out of time. It's been quite a lively debate. I quite like the prop. But look, you've both had your say. It is now time to call on our panel of experts, the jury. It's time to call on them. You have 10 seconds to deliberate. Should Albanese hold a referendum on the Republic? Time is up. What is the jury's verdict? OK, one of you voted yes, the rest voted no. OK, this is quite interesting. One yes. Why? David, tell us why yes.
I'd like to see Albanese run another referendum and lose it so that we can keep the monarchy.
But do you support? Are you a long-time supporter of a republic? How do you? You're not. Right. OK, you're not.
You're being facetious.
Kerry, what about you? You voted no.
Well, I think if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Okay.
Now, Mr Foster and his co, they know that they've got quite a small window here after the death of Queen Elizabeth. They've got Charles doing his thing, and we hope that it doesn't happen. But should he demise, then when William comes along, who's younger and far more popular, that window closes. So therefore, if they don't have their referendum soon, then you're younger than me, but we'll all be dead before you get the next chance. Yeah. But the other thing, is...
We've unfortunately run out of time, but that's a very good point. You know, William and Kate are certainly quite popular at the moment, but you never know what might happen. Erica Betts, Craig Foster, we have run out of time, unfortunately. Good to speak to you both. We'll do it again, absolutely. We will do it again. How was that? Fired up debate. Well, thank you to both of you for coming.